All right, we are live. Welcome. My name is Laura Goldstein, and I am the chapter support mentor for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. And today we bring to you this wonderful live stream on how to find and enroll clients online. Now, granted, our original guest could not make it, so we have an equally as brilliant last minute substitution who can also really talk to us about that topic. So I want to give a warm welcome to Shayla Mihaly. And just a really quick bio about her. Shayla teaches heart-centered women coaches, healers, and yoga teachers how to attract great clients online and create an extra 10 to 30K per month without feeling guilty or working too much. Who doesn't want that? A spiritual practitioner, holistic healer, and entrepreneur all of her life, Shayla ran her own multi-six-figure holistic wellness center for over 20 years, where she did over 20,000 in-person sessions with clients. And I'm going to let Shayla dive in, but I just wanted to kind of preface this whole topic. I mean, this is a really great topic because yes, I do work for the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, but I'm also a yoga teacher and a psychotherapist. So I get what it's like to be out there in the online world and try and find clients. But it is extremely confusing, but it's really overwhelming because you have this idea that you have to hustle and you have to be on every social media outlet in order to attract your clients, and you have to be present and visible all the time, and you have to be unique, and you have to know your niche and have an avatar. There is so much pressure to do all of these things that I think it almost paralyzes us, where we're like, we don't even want to do anything at all. So that's just what I've experienced. But I'm going to go ahead and let you, Shayla, dive in and just start talking about maybe some of the stressors that people face with this.
Yes, Laura, thank you. And thank you for having me today. I really appreciate it. I'm always happy to connect with the members of the Holistic Chamber. And anyone who's watching who can comment, I want to welcome you. Let us know where you are. Let us know what your biggest challenges are to finding and enrolling clients online. And Laura, what you just described, I felt myself like, oh, I feel exhausted just hearing that. Like, oh, that's a lot of work for very little effort, for very little rewards, a lot of effort for very little rewards. So there's a lot going on. And what you just described, oh, hi, Alicia. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for saying hi. Diane, hi. Oh, thanks. Oh, from Isabella. Okay, great. Great. Hi, everyone. So this is really a big problem. And, we are in a different world now than we were a few years ago. And there are tons more people trying to find clients online than there were a few years ago. Everybody, went home and stayed home and then went online. So not only would it be kind of challenging anyway if you don't know how to do it, today there's way more noise and way more confusion, and there are mistakes that people are making. So I want to talk first of all about some of the mistakes that I see people making when they're trying to find clients online. And sadly, some mentors are teaching holistic practitioners and coaches to do these things, and they really don't work for our industry and our niche. So one of them is DMing strangers. Now, Laura, have you been DM'd by strangers?
I have,
Yes,
and
how does that feel?
it drives me crazy. And I hate to say, even when platforms like LinkedIn, I used to be okay going on, but now I go on and I get like all of these robo things from
Right.
LinkedIn now. So it's like coming from people, but it's also coming from like these platforms that are making this an available feature.
Right, right. And it feels terrible. I just either ignore them and just leave the platform, or I delete these messages. So just so you know, for the holistic wellness community, this is not a good strategy. DMing strangers, and there are coaches who are telling you to do this. And one thing is to make sure you're not doing anything that doesn't feel good to you or that you don't enjoy receiving, so that you're in alignment. Something else that doesn't work, this drives me nuts, is spamming other people's Facebook groups. That's what other people tell you. Get in those Facebook groups and then get clients there. And we boot people out of our Facebook group all the time to go in there and try to do that. It's like, no, this is a safe space for holistic practitioners and coaches to actually talk about what's going on and get free advice. This isn't a place to come and try to take, right? It has to be a generous, energetic exchange. Another thing that doesn't work, and people self-promote a lot. So self-promoting and saying, hey, I do this, without first establishing yourself as a trusted, caring expert with clear, tangible, proven results. So you can say, like, I just got a text. I didn't even read it. I get spam texts also. Like, I guess everybody wants me to lose weight, and I don't know what all they want me to do, but I just, like, I don't know these people. Like, I don't know how they got my number. So that doesn't work. Just always promoting yourself. Another thing that doesn't work is posting all the time. And that's another thing being taught. Just post all the time everywhere. And you mentioned that at the beginning, Laura, like you have to be everywhere, showing up all the time, right? Really on. And it's exhausting to us and to the people on the receiving end. And then another thing that doesn't work, and this is a really big one, is not having a clear message. So I talk to people regularly who say, yeah, well, I'm posting all the time. And I say, great, what are you posting? And they'll say, well, like an inspirational message. And I say, well, great. How many clients has that gotten you? And they always say exactly 0.
Mhm.
Or sometimes they say, well, I did get 1 or 2 clients, but they wanted a discount and they only did 1 session and then they didn't stick around. They weren't invested in actually solving their problem. They didn't get results, and they weren't the kind of clients that you really want, right? So you can go out there and, like, if you fish all day, you can eventually catch a fish, but it might like be an old shoe on the end of your line or something, right? It's not
Not the right person.
not the right person, not somebody that is committed. And if you're spending this much time, you really want to attract committed people.
Mhm.
Great. So hi, Nicole. Oh, I see, from Houston, Texas. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Okay, great. So glad to see you all here. Yeah, if you have any questions, just post them right here.
Something that one of my mentors told me, which really stuck with me, is if you are going to market yourself online and attract the right people, to use the platforms and systems that you yourself really enjoy. So I was pressuring myself to do like these. What are they, like an Instagram? They're little video story things. So I was pressuring myself to do that. And then my mentor is like, well, do you spend time, reels? Do you spend time like going through like Facebook and watching these reels? And I said, no. And
Right.
she's like, well, why are you doing it? It's
That's
not
it.
authentic to you. So that
That's
really stuck with me.
That's right. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It has to be in alignment. This is something that you engage in. And then, a lot of people, quite honestly, who I know, don't like to do any social media at all. And so we'll talk about what to do in that case. What if you just don't like social media?
Mhm.
So, so this thing about, not having a clear message. So I just want to like cut right to the chase and say, here is the number one best way to attract clients online. There's 3 parts to it. And the first one is clarity. So you have to get really clear on who you help and specifically what you help them do. What are the specific tangible results? So when you introduced me so fantastically, Laura, you let people know that I help women coaches and healers and yoga teachers create an extra $10,000 to $30,000 per month without feeling guilty or working too much. So since I'm so clear about who I help and specifically how I help them, my clients, like their little antenna shoots up on their head. They're like, I want that. I need that. That's exactly for me. And sometimes people say, oh, well, that's interesting, but they're not my client. And I remember one time at some event, somebody asked me what I did, and I said that. And the guy goes, huh, what's a healer? And I was like, great, like that's not my ideal client either. And that's okay. So that's a thing to remember is you're not speaking to everyone. You have to get very specific about who you're speaking to and how you can help them. And here are some things that I see people doing that get them, again, 0 clients. Don't say, I help people get unstuck. That is so vague. And I hear people say that all the time. I'm like, well, we all help people get unstuck.
Find pure bliss. And you're like,
Find pure bliss.
awesome.
Great. Are you booking clients with that message? Does anybody call you saying, hey, Laura, I'm calling you because I want to find pure bliss?
Yes.
That's my biggest problem today. Like, no, that's not why they're calling you. Don't say, oh, I help people in all areas of their lives. That's great, but I don't know who to send to you. I don't know who to refer to you. I help people live their best life. Hear that one. Unless you're Oprah, that's not going to make you money. Or I help people feel better. People come to me and they feel better. Well, that's great. But specifically, how and why and for what, from what do they feel better, right? So you have to really, the first one is clarity. And you have to learn really, this actually requires you to come out of hiding and really stand for something and for someone. I call this like we're putting our stake in the ground and we're all these healers all over the world. And, one person in Connecticut is like, I'm helping people with life after cancer. I got this part. Like, great. I'm so happy. Nicole's helping people as a computer workstation ergonomic consultant. So that's great. And I get it. But Nicole, you probably want to have a message, something like, I help people who are on the computer all day not have neck pain, get natural relief, something, they're going to like talk about who you help and specifically
in their language and something
language. What are they saying, right? So like, oh, you know how people are on the computer and at the end of the day they're frozen like this? Well, I help them feel relaxed and energetic all day, right?
I do see that, like people really go into their modalities, like, and we're going to make an energetic connection of guiding, divine source light. And I'm just like, what does that mean?
Right. And what does that do for me? Like, and that's the thing, as caring holistic healers, practitioners, coaches, we are so generous and giving. We're like so focused on the other, except for when we try to say what we do. And then we like just start talking about ourselves. I did this and I studied here and I did that and I've got this degree and I've got this certification. It's like, well, that's fine. But when somebody says, what do you do? Here's the rest of the sentence you want to hear. What do you do for me? Right? What do you do
for me? Yeah.
What can you do for me? Right? Yeah. So you really have to be able to say what you do. I like to say this so that your ideal clients run towards you and not away from you. Have you ever like talked to somebody, they're going on and on about it, and you're like, okay, but what do you do? Like, I still don't, I've had friends.
I hear my mother calling, gotta go.
Exactly. Nice to meet you. What does she do? I don't know, right? But you're running away. So you need clarity and you need communication to be able to say what you do so your clients run towards you and not away from you. And then the third thing you need is...
Can I ask you a question, though, about the clarity before we move on to the third thing?
Absolutely. Let's get clarity.
Yeah. So what if you have multiple hats and play multiple roles? Because many of us do several different things, which are kind of different messages.
Yes, I love that you say that. I love that. And every true healer I know, like me, I'm an NLP master practitioner. I'm a Reiki master. I've studied this. I've studied that. I spent a year on the Red Road with a Native American shaman. I've got all these tools and experiences. So and here's the thing, you have to ask yourself, what are your goals? If your goal is to receive an additional 6 figures a year without working too much, you have to make some decisions. And one of the decisions you have to make is on your commitment. And that's the clarity. All right, so see, great. Online Spanish teacher and
Wellness.
wellness advocate. Right, great. And what about stopping overwhelm and exhaustion? Ooh, I'm so glad you asked that, Alicia. I'm going to talk about that because that's one of my specialties. I love that. So you have to decide what you want to focus on. So you could say, all right, I'm a yoga teacher and a psychotherapist, right? Or you could get clear on what are the results that people come to you for that you most want to share.
Oh, that's golden.
That's golden.
Yeah.
I just got the chill when you said that.
Uh-huh. That's like the golden nugget of this conversation.
That's one of our, so far, that's one of our golden nuggets, right? So for me, I got, some people will say, figure out what people are buying and then do that and do it for $10 less or something. I always say, get clear on who you're here to serve. So, I have a strong background in holistic health and wellness. And so I reached a point where I realized, oh, it's time for me to move out of my treatment room doing one-on-one sessions and to become a mentor to other healers and coaches. And so I went to them and I said, hey, Laura, what do you need? I'm here to serve you. And every single person said, I need to get more clients and I need to make more money, but I feel guilty and I don't want to work too much because, Alicia, I feel like I will go into overwhelm and exhaustion. So a lot of times when caring practitioners and coaches think about making more money, they're like, no, I can't work anymore. So this is not about working more. This is actually about working less and being very focused. So, it'd be really interesting to kind of look under the hood, like, can we combine the online Spanish teacher and wellness advocate, or are you going to, and wellness advocate, love what you're doing, way too vague. Is it weight loss? Is it pain relief? Is it healing from cancer? Like wellness advocate, like, again, I don't know anybody calling saying, hey, I'm looking for a wellness advocate. They'll call with something very specific. Somebody got diagnosed with diabetes and they want to cure it without having to be on drugs for the rest of their life, right? There are really specific things. So
yeah, that's a good point for like any of these industries. Like even as a psychotherapist, you have, people that specialize in trauma, you have marriage and family, life coaches. Well, what is your specific area of expertise so that you're just not one of the other, thousands of life coaches out there floating around.
Right. And the other thing is anybody can call themselves a life coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's no, there are peer certifications, but that's another thing about our industry is anybody can just pop up and go, I'm a life coach now. And so, yeah, what's your message and how do you differentiate yourself so that people actually know how you can help them? So I would say don't do one more social media post until you get clear on this, because once you get clear on your message and what you actually do and who you help, then you know what to say in your posts that are going to make your ideal clients go like this. I need that, right?
And part of what you do is helping people get clear, yes? And
absolutely, that's the first thing we do. Well, the first thing we do is we update subconscious programming that can get in the way of clarity and abundance. Mm-hmm. And then we go right into, all right, let's get clear on what you do, right? Mm-hmm. So, one of my clients, she was doing something with relationships, but she couldn't get clear on her message. And then just like, and we worked together for a while, but this one coaching call we did, like in 5 minutes, we got clear. And her message was, how sometimes a woman gets her heart broken and she never gets over it? Well, I help her feel confident to love again.
That is awesome. It's like super specific. And it also like touches on like the emotional component to that, because someone's like, oh my God, I so desperately want that.
Right. And right away I'm like, oh, I know a woman. I know who to send to her. I know someone who fits that exact description. Luckily, I just keep loving. I don't care. But some people don't, Some people don't. And so when she got that very specific message, then she was able to attract a very specific client who wanted a very specific result. And this is where the third part, so there's clarity, communication, and the third part is confidence. So you absolutely need a high-end offer. And you need to know how to enroll just the right people into your high-end offer. And a lot of times people say, well, who will pay that? Where am I going to find these people who will pay $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 per program? And this is the confidence you need, because you're the type of person, and everyone on this training, this call, is a type of person. You invest in yourself. You invest in your training. You invest in your personal growth and development and your professional growth and development because it's important to you. And most people here have spent thousands or tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on their training and development. And so what you have to understand is that when you get clear on the positive life transformation you're here to offer, and you learn how to say that very clearly, there are people who value that transformation and will invest in it, right? So in the example earlier, what's it worth to open your heart to love again? And what does it cost you if you don't do that, if you stay shut down and never fall in love again for the rest of your life? There are people who want that transformation and will invest. So you have to understand and know with confidence that there are people who will invest in the things that are important to them, which is the specific, tangible transformation, that golden nugget that you provide to your own unique, what I call your divine match clients, because you're a divine match for them, they're a divine match for you. And so when you think about a high-end offer, let's do, we won't do too much math today, but let's do a little math, right? So most people come to me wanting to make an extra $5,000 or $10,000 a month. And when we run the numbers, they realize, oh, actually, it has to be at least an extra $10,000 a month, because that's just $120,000 a year. And when you add up all your personal and business expenses, that's really not that much money in the world that we live in today. And I know I'm a little skewed because I live in San Francisco, but really, exactly. But really, in most places, you probably want to make $200,000 or $300,000 a year when you really think about your team and your housing, all of that. All right. So, and the thing to remember also is it's not about the number. For everybody, it's about freedom, right? We don't want to have to worry about money. We don't want to have to worry about hustling and feeling exhausted and overwhelmed and trying to rope clients in. So Alicia, like here's part maybe why you're feeling exhausted. So we do a little math. Let's say you're charging $100 per, I would say hour, but it's usually per session, right? Now you might be charging more or less, but this is just easy math. So the people I know who are charging $100 a session, it's usually 3 hours. By the time you do your marketing, you prep for the session, you give way too much. You give more than an hour, and then maybe you have to do cleanup or you do follow up or whatever that is. It's usually about 3 hours per 1 hour session. So if you want to make an extra $10,000 a month, which is $120,000 a year, and you're charging $100 per session, that means you need to do 1,200 client sessions per year. And if we're spending 3 hours per session, that's 3,600 hours per year. I like to divide that by 10 months because we all need time off to go travel and do whatever we want to do for a couple of months a year. So that's 360 hours per month, also known as 90 hours per week. So that leads to exhaustion and overwhelm, and the numbers will never add up. And a lot of times you've got clients who come in and they don't rebook. They just, come in and want just this little tiny piece of something that you do. So that just math, numbers don't add up.
And then they say, oh, well, it didn't fix me. And it's
right.
Like,
it didn't work.
You only came for one session. So then you don't have that element of quality referrals because
Exactly.
they really didn't invest the time
That's right.
in the resources.
That's
Yeah.
right. And you don't have the testimonials. You don't
Mhm.
have any of that. And usually it's because you didn't offer it to them,
Mm.
right? You only offered them an hour session.
So I'm wondering if some of that subconscious work that you do ahead of time is actually on like money blocks and making a sale, because that is so pervasive. I think even in like the wellness industry, especially like the more spiritual field, like, oh, we
Absolutely.
have to be able to serve everybody. People can't afford it. And there's this like
Absolutely. Yeah.
pervasiveness.
Yeah. And when you say that, you're creating this big energetic block between you and that person saying, this is my money stuff I'm projecting onto you,
Mhm.
right? So, not only are you like having to spend all those hours, like the constant hustle of spending more time trying to get clients all the time, those are hours you're not actually spending helping people, right? Because what we all want to do is help people.
Mhm.
We love the actual healing work. We love the coaching. We love the teaching yoga. We love all of that part. So if we can get a structure and support under that, then we create a high-end offer of 3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or even more. And then the math makes more sense. So if you want to make 120,000 a year, and let's say you create a $5,000 program, that's 24 clients per year. Divided by 10 months, that's 2.4 clients per month. And you can work with them privately or you can do groups.
Mhm.
So you want to work 90 hours a week, or do you want to attract 2 or 3 clients a month? And especially those of us who were like I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm an introvert. Like doing all that hustle online or in person is overwhelming and exhausting. And you don't have to do that. And I always say your divine match clients are already looking for you. They're walking down the street looking for you. Don't go jump in the bushes and hide from them. And that's what people are doing. You need to really let yourself be seen and heard as who you really are and what you're really up to in this world. And you have to commit to it. It actually calls you out. There's a very different energetic empowerment from saying, oh, I charge this much for an hour, but I'll give you a discount, to saying, here's my program. Here's how I can help you get from this place of concern or pain or something that you want or don't want over to this fabulous life that you want, to this fabulous result that you want. And to do that, you have to get support. And you have to get support from experts who have already gotten the results that you want, not someone who read about it or took a course on it 3 months ago. And also, I did a lot of training, and I always benefit from all of my training, but most of my training was not from people who were spiritual or in the holistic community. And it's very different. It's a very different world and environment and integrity level. So I would say, work with someone and keep investing in your training, someone who's still doing it and is relevant and knows what's working now and can help you get that clarity and that communication and that confidence. So you know what you're doing, who you take a stand for, how to say what you do so your clients run towards you and not away from you. And you have the confidence to create and enroll just the right people, clients you absolutely love, into your high-end transformational programs. And I say don't waste your precious time and money doing anything else, because I mean, time is an illusion and we are eternal beings, but in this incarnation, we don't have that much time.
Mhm.
We really don't. So you really want to focus um, on who you want to serve and what you're committed to doing. Now, on a very practical level, I want to give you practical tips because I like that also. One of the things that's really working right now is running very specific targeted Facebook ads to a gift, right? So instead of saying, I do this, you can say, I help this person with this, and here's a free gift, right? And that gift can be a checklist, it can be a quiz, it can be a report. You don't want it to be a huge, long ebook that no one will ever read. They'll just download it and never read it. So you want something that people can that helps them. You actually want to give something that helps people as well as leads them towards your high-end offer. And this is what we call a funnel. It just means, how does someone first hear about you, and what's their journey and experience like until they become your client, hopefully for a long time. So you can create these funnels, which means here's my initial offering, and then there are ways to nurture your potential clients and then invite them into this life-changing transformation. But you have to get all those other pieces in place first, right? Okay, and so Deanna's saying I asked them to book a group of classes, 6 or 7 sessions, so they can see progress.
Mhm.
Right, and some people do that. They'll do, a block of sessions or a package, but that's actually very different than a transformational program. And I would imagine that's not something that you're charging $3,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 for. And that's the difference. If you think, okay, yeah, they can get a certain result in 6 or 7 sessions, but there's something bigger and deeper, right? There's something bigger and deeper. And what are the steps to that? That's the program that you want to create. Yeah?
So do you help people like with their funnels as well, like coming up with,
Yes.
okay. Because I mean, I think too, a lot of people get stuck on, what do I give away? What do I give
Right.
to people?
Right.
Um, and then there's some people like me that just naturally are talkers, and it's like, we just want to give away everything. And they're like, wow, that was awesome. Thanks. And now I don't even have to work with you. And I'm like, oh, but wait. So,
Right.
it can be tricky.
Right. And that's not actually the best way to serve them, Laura.
Hmm. Right.
Because they'll feel a little better in the moment. So they like come limping in from a car accident, and you're like, here's a little kiss on the head and a Band-Aid.
Band-Aid.
Here's a little cookie.
Yeah, exactly.
Feel bad.
Exactly.
And then they limp out,
Hmm.
So it takes a very deep level of commitment to show up and to really be of service and to say, I'm not here to dispense Band-Aids. I'm here to help people transform their lives. And that's the only way that the high-end programs work.
Mhm. All right. Well, we are at the half-hour mark, so just transition a little bit about your program, what you do. You gave me a link to share with everybody, so I'm going to put that on here. So just go ahead and talk a little bit about what this is.
Yeah, so I invite you, if you're interested in creating more abundance, attracting amazing clients, I have a free masterclass. There's nothing for sale. And if you stay till the end, I show you how to get even more support. And there'll be a link somewhere on this page. So click that link and sign up for the masterclass. There you go. Yep.
Mhm.
And watch that till the end. And then and what you'll learn in the masterclass is the exact steps that my clients and I are using to receive an extra $10,000 to $30,000 per month. And I didn't have the intention, but my sweet spot has been people triple their income and or hit their first $30,000 months, and some of them actually stay there with consistency. So check it out. The steps are simple, but you have to do the real specific things in the right order. And once you get those, you don't have to make yourself exhausted or overwhelmed or do any of those things that drain your energy. This isn't about that at all. It's about getting very clear and very focused.
Mhm. Alicia has a question about going through Steve Harrison's Quantum Leap program. I don't know anything about that. Maybe you do. Is this different from that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know that program.
Yeah.
But if you like it, do it. There's so many programs out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do that. I mean, all the programs are different. I specifically and only work with women coaches, holistic healers, spiritual practitioners, and we do a combination of internal updating, energetic work, clearing, updating subconscious patterns, and very specifically setting up funnels so that you can attract clients online and then enroll them into your high-end programs. So you'll know how to deliver those programs, what to name them, what to include, just as importantly, what not to include, all of that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Nicole said, can you talk quickly about marketing without use of social media? Thanks, Nicole, for bringing that back around to us.
Yes, absolutely. So yes, there's lots of ways to market. One of my favorite ways to market is promotional partners, right? So you can promote someone and have them promote you, just like Camille and I do this, right? With the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. We're a great match and we're friends. And again, however you market yourself, you need a very clear message, right? So let's say, for example, you want to market yourself to firefighters. That just came to mind. So you'd know to go to the pancake breakfast, to go to the fire department, to go to the credit union where they come and cash their checks twice a month, right? So that's why you get really specific on who you're here to help, and then you'll know where to find them. And as I mentioned earlier, there are some people who don't like to be on social media at all. I'm not a big social media person, but you can run ads on social media that leads them into your funnel where you don't even ever have to go on social media. The ad is running and you set your funnel up so that you check your calendar and there's a call that shows up on your calendar. It's all automated and you have that conversation with someone. And if you watch my masterclass, you'll see, yes, Alicia, you can send my clear message and ask for, you could, yeah, type it right in. And also if you watch the masterclass, you're going to get more clarity. I spend, I think, 45 minutes walking you through how to get clear on your what do you do statement.
I'm going to sign up now.
Yeah, sign up now. It's a good one. It's a good one. And it's also an example of a clear message and a marketing funnel. So you can see what happens during it and what the process is. Yeah. So Alicia, if you want to type in, we're at our last couple of minutes. I know we're going over, so thank you for staying in. But if you want to type, oh, okay, that needs to be, I love you. I can't read all that. Like that needs to be, so I'm glad you wrote that, Alicia. So you want one sentence, right? And become their best selves, accept themselves for who they are.
How about the first sentence? I help sensitive people and empaths change their lives by learning to let go of excess energy, accept themselves for who they are, and become their best selves.
Okay, so I like that you help sensitive people and empaths change their lives. How? That's way too vague. Again, lots of love. You're asking, so I'm going to give you my expert opinion here. Change their lives is way too vague. Accept themselves for who they are is a process. It's not a result. And become their best selves, way too vague. That's what we were talking about earlier. That's like if you're Oprah, that works. But I wouldn't know who to refer to you by this, right? It's great that you offer online sessions. That's great. But you need to really get very, very clear. Alicia, I invite you to watch my masterclass and see if you can really dial that in. So it might be, I help sensitive people and empaths. What is it? Change their lives in what specific way? What's the specific tangible outcome? Right? I help. Yay! Yes. Well, if you want to connect with me, yes. And I'm glad also that you're choosing more automation. I love automation. As a sensitive person and an empath, I love automation. So yes, watch the masterclass, and that'll get you on our list, and we can be in touch there. And Alicia, I think you're up to really good things. So what you want to focus on is specifically how do you help sensitive people and empaths change their lives? Do you help them in their home, in their career, in their relationships, in their body and their health? There's like something very specific people are going to come to you for, right? So it might be I help sensitive people and empaths get out of overwhelm in the busy modern world, right? But there's a process, and watch my masterclass because I tell you how to get to that process. And it's really about asking your people what they want and listening to what they say. So like I said, when I reached out to women coaches and healers, they all said, I need to get clients and I need to make more money. Right? So I'm like, oh, great. I mean, I could never talk about money again and be happy. But if that's what you need, that's where most true healers and spiritual people feel the least empowered. So that's what I help with. Okay.
And I just wanted to make a comment. If you're like, when I tried to register, it kind of timed out on me and said there was an error. So I refreshed the screen and went back in. So just a heads up to people, if it's sitting there for a while, it seems to time out.
Well, thank you for letting me know. I'll let my automation people know. I'll let my tech people
Yeah.
know.
So
I appreciate that. So just, I always say one of the signs of success is intrepidness. So sometimes you got to hit that refresh button. We'll make it.
Well, it told me to do that, so I just wanted to give people a heads up.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. So you know
Yeah.
what, this was amazing. There were so many great nuggets in that, and we appreciate you coming on, especially last minute. It was like, ah, can you do this last minute? You know about this topic, so we totally appreciate you for doing that.
Thank
and
you,
we're
Laura.
grateful for you to share your knowledge and also your free webinar with us.
Thank
So
you.
we
I
appreciate
appreciate you. I appreciate this community. I appreciate Camille. And just thank you again for having me. And thank you so much for coming. And I hope you watch the masterclass and that it is of benefit to you.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye.